Sarah, Goldspot's a very innovative company in the field of AI. You're applying it to an area where a lot of people don't necessarily think of it naturally. Artificial intelligence, mass market artificial intelligence is fairly new. How do you guys deal with the fact that there is no legal framework that applies specifically to your activities? You just sort of have to interpret rules that weren't designed for it.
No one has any direction on how to do this today. So that's why I think it's so important, especially for small companies that really want to expand in this field, to make sure that they've brought someone on board that understands and cares about data legality, privacy, appropriate use of data, storage, cybersecurity. The list is endless. It's never top of mind for startups. Fintechs, it doesn't matter what industry they're in, usually at that stage in game where you're like, I could hire another developer, another data scientist, or I could hire a lawyer, compliance, somebody who's really, really passionate about reading T's and C's. And so if you can find a hybrid, they exist. They do exist. I'm one of them myself. I come from the banking background and I know and I love and I understand data and everything around that. But I think fundamentally that companies, without understanding that it is a minefield, legally, ethics, transparency going forward, if they don't make that investment up front, then ultimately they're going to hit a roadblock later. And that roadblock could be the prevention of a buyout or an acquisition or a partnership with a really big regulated partner.
It's all about finding solutions, not finding problems, of course.
Absolutely. The dialogue has to start from the very beginning, bringing people with different skill sets, experiences, and ideas. It's especially in mining, it's going to be really, really tough for me to find someone who specializes in the legality and the ethics and the privacy around mining and the combination of data science, because we've really pioneered that ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. But bringing someone in who has proven time and time again that they can look and assess and critically think about different problems, even if they've never seen them before, that's a skill set that's transferable.
And one of the big issues in AI is this question of liability. I mean, if the AI doesn't work properly, if something goes wrong, if it makes a bad decision, who is going to be liable? Is it the programmer? Is the person who trained it, provided the data? Is it the developer? So how do you guys deal with that?
This scares me so much because at the end of the day, when we work with a client or we work with anyone, even internally, we want everyone to walk away happy and everyone has to be satisfied with what happens. I keep talking about open, honest dialogue. So stage one, all your business partners, do you truly understand the business problem? Do you truly understand the data? Do you truly understand the end outcomes and what the requirements for success are there? It's not a call 3 months later to the lawyer saying, oops, I think we might have done something wrong. It's putting everyone in that room up front to understand what's happening, what's going on, and then having open, honest dialogue every single step of the way. Relationships don't have to be adversarial. Having someone who's really strong in risk governance or compliance or legal, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are the bad person in the room. You can have open, honest dialogues. They're not going to turn around and shut your business down. That's not their job. From the very, very beginning, as we talk to the client, one thing that we do to limit our risk is that we insist that we need all of the data. That is the only way that we can prevent bias. That is the only way that we can prevent someone withholding from us. Ultimately, if the client decides to withhold some data set or some area that we don't know about, ultimately, we won't realize that's what's happening. Where if you give me all of the data, and it has to be raw data, it can't be processed, it can't be transformed, it can't have had your ideas and thoughts put into it. Not that they are bad, but the thing is, we need to start from the very, very raw data, and we need, from that point onwards, can we only start to build and embark on every step of that journey and try to eliminate interpretation, try to eliminate bias, making sure that we have the right data sets there. And if at any point very early on in the stage, we don't feel that we can satisfy those conditions, we walk away.